Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Mouthing Off with Mike Wrestling podcast, and welcome back to my Survivor Series recap. So we are going to go over the Survivor Series premium live event that just took place Saturday night from Chicago, Illinois. And if you can't tell by the shirt that I'm wearing, then you know CM Punk has returned to WWE for the first time in 9 years, almost 10 years. But that is not all that we're going to talk about. We are going to talk about how damn good Survivor Series was. There was 5 matches. 2 of them were Wargames matches. The other 3 were singles matches. 2 of them for titles. So without further ado, welcome back to Mouthing Off with Mike. Welcome into the Survivor Series recap. And let's go ahead and get into a conversation now about Survivor Series.
Mouthing Off with Mike, Mouthing Off with Mike, Mouthing Off with Mike.
From top to bottom, the Survivor Series match card was fantastic, I have to say. The first match that we kicked off Survivor Series with was the Women's Wargames match. And let me tell you something here about this Women's Wargames match. I think, in my personal opinion, it was better than the main event, the Men's Wargames match. These 8 women went out there and they tore the effing house down. The first match, they set the tone for the rest of this event. And I have to say, this Women's Wargames match is definitely in my top 3, if not my favorite one. There were so many cool spots. Charlotte Flair hits the moonsault from the top of the cage. Io Sky, and it's a little bit of a running inside joke with my girlfriend and myself. When I had showed her Wargames, one of the first matches I showed her was the NXT Wargames match, which saw the infamous Io Sky put the trash can over herself and jump off. Ever since then, my girlfriend has labeled her as the Trash Can Queen. And ladies and gentlemen, the Trash Can Queen has once again fulfilled her queen duties, and she put the trash can over herself, jumped off the top of the cage, taking out the rest of the women in the match. Awesome spot. We love Io Sky, the genius of the sky, but also the genius of the trash can, it seems. Overall, a great Women's Wargames match. Shotzi looked great in it. Charlotte looked good. Bianca looked good. Becky looked great. But I got to give the MVP of the Wargames match to Bayley, because Bayley went out there and she took all the hits that she could possibly take. She even saved Kairi Sane during this match, which in turn led to Damage Control's loss. Now, I'm excited to see what SmackDown looks like this Friday after the fallout, after everything's said and done when it comes to that Women's Wargames match. Could be on the horizon for Bayley to maybe be getting booted from Damage Control. I guess time will tell. Moving right along here on the Survivor Series match card. The second match here following an incredible Women's Wargames match is going to see the Ring General Gunther defend his Intercontinental Championship against the A-lister, The Miz. And once again, another really solid freaking match here. Miz constantly, for whatever reason, seems to have to prove to the internet wrestling community, prove to people that The Miz belongs in WWE. The Miz goes out there and once again proves it, why he is the A-lister, why he has longevity in the company. And Gunther goes out there and he proves that he is on a completely different level than anybody in the company right now. Gunther retains his championship, and that is not to the benefit of The Miz, because The Miz tried everything in his power, even a low blow, to try to win, but Gunther is just on a new level. Who, if anybody, is going to dethrone Gunther? I have no idea. But at this point, my pick would be Chad Gable if I had a pick. Solid match overall. That was originally supposed to see Santos Escobar take on Carlito. Unfortunately, thanks to Santos Escobar and his dastardly ways, he takes out Carlito last Friday. The match is then made into Dragon Lee versus Santos Escobar. Now look, this was a good match for both men. Santos gets the win. He needed this win. It just goes in line with his character, this dastardly heel. He's on a new level. We've got a new villain in WWE, something that, truthfully, we don't have that many of. We've got a lot of really over good guys, a lot of really over baby faces, but we don't have that many really bad guys that you can get behind and really have as that antagonist to these good guys. But we've got Santos Escobar, and he is firing on all cylinders. Cannot wait to see where his character goes from here. But Dragon Lee and Santos Escobar Part 1 is just a match, in my personal opinion, that would be phenomenal as a trilogy. I'd love to see these two lock it up again. I'd love to see them do it again. I'd love to see them do it multiple times over the next couple years because both of these guys are young, especially Dragon Lee. The sky is the limit for him. The sky is the limit for Santos Escobar. But a solid first meeting between these two. Excited to see what the future holds for both men, and especially Santos Escobar during this heel run. It's time for Mamí Rhea Ripley to defend her women's world title against Zoey Stark. And listen, another solid match here on Survivor Series. Once again, I thought this was a great match. I thought Zoey went out there and she absolutely killed it in this spot, proving why she belongs. Rhea Ripley, I mean, I didn't think Zoey was going to beat her. Believability level right now of anybody dethroning Rhea before we get to Elimination Chamber in Australia, very low. Rhea's going to hold that title for the foreseeable future. Maybe drop it at WrestleMania. Maybe hold it throughout WrestleMania. But Mamí right now is on top, and she is proving why she should continue to stay on top. Zoey Stark, though, got to give her flowers. She belongs in the main event scene in the women's division. So I cannot wait to see how we follow this up. Cannot wait to see the outcome of the Survivor Series when it comes to the Judgment Day with Mamí, being the quote-unquote leader, but not really the leader. So very interesting dynamic happening, but great women's match from these two ladies. Really solid. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I recommend going and checking it out. But these two women went out there and they gave you a hell of a match. He's back, and I'm not talking the man on my shirt. I'm talking the Apex Predator. I'm talking the Viper. I'm talking the Legend Killer. I'm talking Randy Orton has returned for Team Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, and Seth Rollins for the men's War Games match to take on the Judgment Day and Drew McIntyre. Now, look, the entirety of the War Games men's match did not see Randy Orton come out. We didn't know if he was coming. The fans were chanting his name. The fans started chanting CM Punk's name. The fans didn't know what to chant because they didn't know what the hell was going on. Just like you and I were viewing it at our homes, did not know what was going to go down. But I have to say, when that Randy Orton music hit, when voices hit, and he came out looking better than ever, I have to say, my man Randy Orton is looking real damn good right now. What a handsome fella, always. But he looks in incredible shape. I have no doubt that Randy Orton is back for the foreseeable future, barring he stays healthy. and praying, fingers crossed, that man stays healthy because I cannot go over 500 days without the Viper on my television screen because I love the guy that much. He's one of my favorites to ever do it, one of my childhood favorites growing up. And honestly, as an adult, I've really come to really appreciate his impact on WWE. The men's War Games match. Phenomenal War Games match. Like I said earlier, I think the women's War Games match edged it out here, but the men's War Games match told a story. That story being between Randy and Jey. That story being between all of these men and Judgment Day. That story was phenomenal. Team Cody is able to get the win after an incredible War Games match. We almost saw Money in the Bank cash in, and that is when Randy's music hit, and here comes the Legend Killer. War Games, this War Games match will be remembered as the day Randy Orton came back. And this War Games match was the first War Games match for Cody Rhodes to actually participate in it and be in the match that his father created all those decades ago. So really awesome moment for Cody. As well, Charlotte was in her first War Games match. Forgot to mention that earlier. Something that her father had been in numerous War Games matches. So it's honestly awesome to see the history, see the children of these legends, Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes, partake in a match that their parents, partook in and made, larger than life. I absolutely love War Games. I think it's one of the best matches that they could have brought back to WWE over these last couple of years, first in NXT and now, of course, the last couple of years being in the main roster. I think War Games is one of those matches that is here for the foreseeable future and very well could be the Survivor Series staple now instead of maybe brand supremacy. I'd like to see a War Games match, Raw, SmackDown, respective sides for next year maybe. I love brand supremacy. I'm one of the few that really enjoys, doing Raw versus SmackDown. Survivor Series this year, awesome event. When we come back, when we get into the final mouth off here on the show, you know what it's going to be about. You know who it is about. You know what we're going to talk. So if you want to hear my thoughts on this, stay tuned. If not, thanks for watching. We had three big name returns to WWE at Survivor Series. The first, R-Truth, what's up, is back. I love me some R-Truth. If you don't like R-Truth, then guess what? I don't like you more than likely, because R-Truth is a legend in the game. The man is hysterical, and to have his comedy relief back into WWE is very much welcome. So welcome back, R-Truth. Great to see you. Randy Orton, welcome back. Great to see you as well, brother. You look phenomenal. I cannot wait to see what Triple H cooks up for you on the creative side these next couple weeks, next couple months, heading into the road to WrestleMania. And of course, last but certainly not least, the best in the world, CM Punk has made his long anticipated return to WWE before Survivor Series went off the air. Now, me personally, I am a big CM Punk fan. I really, you cannot convince me that the man is evil. Whatever he may be, he is. But when it comes to wrestling, and when he's in that ring, when he's on that camera, the guy is a money printer. The man makes money for whatever company he's in. Look at the merchandise sales for AEW. Look at the ratings. Look at what was going on when he was with them. I expect the same thing to happen here in WWE with him being back in the fold. I mean, look, the guy is one of the most popular professional wrestlers ever. His name was chanted for years and years and years before he finally returned to AEW. Now, after everything's said and done with AEW, he's gone. He was fired. Whatever the case may be, whatever happened, clearly that circumstance, that situation was just something that was not for him, and he had to leave. He's fired. It is what it is. But him being back in WWE under the corporate machine, I think is exactly what he needs. And then the irony is not lost on me, because that's why he left in the first place. He couldn't deal with the corporate nonsense, and he didn't want that structure. There was maybe no structure in AEW, and that's kind of what leads me into the return here. Whatever the case may be, whatever side you are on this whole CM Punk thing, whether you like the guy, whether you don't like the guy, whether you hate him, you despise him, whatever, he's good for professional wrestling. He gets eyes on the product. People talk about him, good or bad. Clearly, we saw all the speculation before Survivor Series with him. We were not delusional. The fans, with the strings and the reaches and the little references, they were spot on. So the internet wrestling detective community here, when it comes to the internet wrestling community, great job, because they found a lot of hints and a lot of secrets and other references that maybe someone like you and I, or a casual fan, maybe would not have seen or read into, but they found it. They ran with it, and sure enough, they were right. So CM Punk is back. I'm excited to see what happens this run with CM Punk. We know when he came out, there's videos going on social media of Seth freaking out, cursing at him, flipping him off, CM Punk smiling and waving at him. Me personally, I'll be honest, if you're bringing in a guy like CM Punk, then I have no doubt that guys like Seth knew, guys like Cody knew, Randy knew. Those guys knew in the main event. I think they're working you. I think this is going to set up some sort of story between Seth and CM Punk down the line. Whether it happens on Raw, whether Shinsuke, that whole open challenge, who he's waiting for, was directed at Punk. Could Shinsuke be Punk's first rivalry and then transition into Seth Rollins? There's a possibility. There's a lot that we could talk about when it comes to CM Punk. But for now, I'm not going to speculate. I'm going to just let things play out. Monday Night Raw, Monday night is cannot miss TV. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is Survivor Series here on Mouthing Off with Mike. A fantastic show. I recommend you go back. You watch those War Games matches. You watch those singles matches. There was a lot of good that happened. A very fast-paced show. A lot of energy. A lot of chaos. And, of course, it's officially clobbering time in WWE. Thank you so much here for watching and listening to Mouthing Off with Mike. I will be back next week with my WWE recap, my AEW recap. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned to the socials at MOWM_podcast. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Go out there and enjoy this week of pro wrestling. From your host here at Mouthing Off with Mike, I'm signing off. It's clobbering time.
Mouthing off with Mike. Mouthing off with Mike. Mouthing off with Mike.